Pete, the question was why can't we follow common sense rules like Robert's Rules of Orders, Mason's and others that we use in the state legislature, and offering amendments, for instance, be germane to that particular issue as opposed to how it's often used in Congress. And I'll jump in and then you can follow, resting your voice a little bit more. But remember the rules, and this is what I came to understand very quickly, like a slap across the face, coming from my time in the state legislature where there were very clear rules, Robert's, specific Mason's rules, about amendments and anything else. And you could suspend them, but you had to have a vote or acquiescence from the majority in the legislature to do it. In Congress, the rules are the rules of the House. And they are established by the majority party. And the Speaker has the Rules Committee, otherwise known as the Speaker's Committee, but it's the Rules Committee. And they can change rules for any given bill. I'll never forget my first awakening to that as I came down to the floor. There was a bill being talked of, and I wanted to speak to it. And I, in fact, wanted to try to offer an amendment. And I walked over to the floor manager, and I said to him, I'd like to speak on this bill. He said, well, Tim, I know you would, but there are plenty of others do, and we only have 30 minutes to speak on this bill, and I don't have enough time for you. I said, but I'm representing my district, and I need to speak on this bill. He said, well, I know that, but the rules won't allow you to speak on this bill in the time given. And I all of a sudden realized that the rules of the House are the rules of the House, and you have to be able to use them appropriately. I think Pete and I, in fact I know that Pete and I would be very open and would sign rules and support rules that required simple language, simple bills that had one specific topic. In talking with Dr. Larry Arnn, president of Hillsdale College, who's a good friend of mine, a good supporter of mine, he says, I hearken back to the days of the original founding and the framers and their ideas, when the laws, including, the fact that you and I can carry the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, and the jury handbook in a book this size. The elegance and the simplicity of laws and our Constitution and the language at that time that people could read and understand, and were in small sections that we could decide yes or no on a given issue, is something we have to move back to. And the only reason we won't is if Congress isn't pushed into doing that. This year, when we see that the level has been finally broached, where there are actually significantly more federal government union employees than private sector union employees, and that the average wage and benefit level of the federal employee almost doubles that of the average wage of the private sector, we've got a problem. We've got a real problem. And then when you add to that, it's getting close to 50% of our citizens now don't pay any federal income tax. You're getting to a tipping point where the rest of us won't be able to turn back the increase in government and the entitlement mentality. And those that genuinely need it will be getting less than they genuinely need, those truly need it, versus those that have grown to expect government systems to take care of them and not have the ownership responsibility of participating in the whole process. And that, again, why it is exciting and encouraging, and yet it is a challenge at this point in time to see people waking up and know that that has to continue for a significant period of time.